The phenomenon has returned, but is Season 2 as good as Season 1? We're going to talk about it. What is up, Netflix fans? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking Season 2 of Bridgerton, spoiler-free in this review. I need you in the comments down below. Did you enjoy Season 1? Are you excited to look at new characters in Season 2? And new storylines? Let's get into it. So, this time we are following Lord Anthony Bridgerton, the eldest Bridgerton sibling and Viscount, as he sets out to find a suitable wife. Driven by his duty to uphold the family name, Anthony's search for a debutante who meets his impossible standards seems ill-fated until Kate and her younger sister Edwina Sharma arrive from India. When Anthony begins to court Edwina, Kate discovers the true nature of his intentions. A true love match is not high on his priority list and decides to do everything in her power to stop the union. But in doing so, Kate and Anthony's verbal sparring matches only bring them closer together, complicating matters on both sides. Then across the square, the Featheringtons must welcome the newest heir to their estate, while Penelope continues to navigate the town whilst keeping her deepest secret from the people closest to her. Now, as we saw at the end of Season 1, there was the major secret that was revealed, something that I do believe watching Season 2 would have been better if we did not know that identity specifically, and there are also numerous storylines in Season 2 that may, have fans wanting a bit more focus this time around. And we'll get into all of those things. First off, as we always do, let's start out with the rating here. Season 1 of Bridgerton was super steamy. It was TV mature for all of the same reasons we have now. But this time around, it does not have near that level of sensuality or just those types of scenes in their entirety. I mean, the first semi-spicy scene of that level, we don't really see until halfway through this season, so it takes a very different approach. That being said, there's still sex, mild nudity, mild violence, mild profanity, but again, Season 2 is much more scaled back than Season 1, and while that's something that doesn't bother me personally, I know a lot of people love that aspect of Season 1, so just know we are scaled back quite a bit, at least in the first half of the season. But like I said, this time around we are focusing on the son rather than the daughter. We do have the character of Daphne. She is present, she is there, although it was a bit odd seeing her without the family, just kind of being there for the purpose of being there, and she plays such a minor role. Part of me believes it would have either been better to have everyone or just have no one. Maybe that will be the mentality of some, probably not everyone. But again, she's so good in this role. At the end of the day, it didn't really bother me. Austin, stop nitpicking. Let's talk about what worked around this season. It's the central romance. It is this extremely impressive amount of chemistry that blossoms between this main trio. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail as to the direction of what happens between the three. That is eventually kind of narrowed down to two, but that gets extremely complicated. I will just say, Simone Ashley as Kate is fantastic. You can see and feel the anger, the varying emotions that come out of her all throughout the season. Her younger sister, Charithra Chandran, who plays Edwina, is great as well. I love the display of emotion. But between the two, these sisters, they're so different in terms of their personalities. Therefore, when we find Jonathan Bailey's Anthony kind of leaning one way at one point in the series and then slowly going back and forth, you can understand the why. And that's why I thought that main relationship was so compelling. And Bridgerton, right, it's all about the romance. Whether or not you believe that, whether or not you buy the chemistry between the two that we're focused on, and I absolutely did. Again, I'm not going to get too specific on you because the show hasn't premiered yet, but the chemistry is definitely what makes this season go. A lack of those extremely steamy scenes, but when we get them, they feel fewer and farther in between. Maybe they feel just a bit more important because those moments are so rare in Season 2, but it all comes down to the story that we are telling and kind of that back and forth that allows us as an audience to be so compelled by that romance. And that was absolutely something that I had to warm up on as the season went. I will admit, the first episode of Season 2, I'm sitting back missing what made Season 1 run, right? Missing those characters, missing specifically what you gravitated towards in Season 1. But as Season 2 plays out, this world begins to build, in my opinion, even more so than Season 1. You get a bigger, more broad look at everything going on between all of the characters, and sometimes that can feel like maybe too much. maybe there are too many storylines going on. And not that I didn't like the performances from the Featheringtons. I thought it was a nice storyline, but every time we were over here, it was somewhat taking away from what I was enjoying over here. I'm just like, let's go back to the romance. Let's focus on what is making season 2 work so well. Let's focus on what people are here for in the first place. And I do believe that is our main trio, the circumstances of everything going on within those two families, the Bridgertons in their entirety. I like this storyline with Penelope. I enjoy navigating the town, keeping these dark secrets, and secrets are abundant in season 2. That's kind of the storyline. I can't tell anyone how I'm feeling. I can't tell anyone this or that. And that's what this story really as a whole runs on, specifically in this season, and that's what I thought worked extremely well. And everyone that is here for those swoon-worthy moments, it is not lacking in that regard, albeit, not as strong as season 1, and I do think there are going to be many that miss Simon in this season, understandably so, but we're telling a new story from a different perspective, and that is apparently, from what I've read, how the books go. I can't speak upon the accuracy of this season compared to the book, but from what I can understand, that's how every season's going to be. It's going to vary. We're going to see different characters remain, and some of them leave, like we did with Simon this season. Again, part of me does wish they did not pull back on so many elements that made people fall in love with the first season. Again, I'm indifferent on a lot of those steamy scenes. I personally could care less one way or the other, but I know a lot of people love those scenes, so I am just telling you, they are not as prominent in this season. If I were to say it's more family-friendly than season 1, would that make sense? I think it would. Is the love story as strong this time around? Again, the chemistry between the actors are fantastic, and you really do feel those emotionally tense moments between characters, even though some of those moments are, and my biggest issue with this season is, predictable. I do believe where it goes and how it all plays out. It plays out in a way that you can kind of see coming, circumstances along the way that make it intriguing. And again, I still really enjoyed myself with this season, especially when we start building around these characters and we open up this world in a way that makes it feel just super enjoyable and compelling characters. I think that is a great thing too, is you had a lot of that build up in season 1 that carries over into season 2, so you already have an idea, therefore you can just build everything around it. One thing that you do predict going into the season, but it's so consistent from season 1, is how good it's going to look. From the costume design to the world to the production design, just the amount of effort that they put into this is outstanding. And another complaint I saw in season 1 that I had so many comments about in my review was the fact that it's just not historically accurate, but it's from Shondaland. It's not trying to be. It's so self-aware with what it's trying to do, even including modern music playing in the background throughout some of these scenes. Just from that, I can tell it is exactly what it's trying to be, so I don't even factor that into my review when a series is, intending on being one thing, accomplishing that. People will probably still, have issues with it and comment on the review, but if that's the case, then why'd you come back for season 2? Or are you just here to cause conflict? Before I give you my score, again, get in that comment section down below. Are you excited for season 2? Excited for the changes? What stays the same? And I appreciate you for being here. If you like this review, the best way to support this channel is by dropping that thumbs up. It tells the algorithm that you'd like to see more. While not as steamy as season 1, season 2 thrives when it is focusing on the central romance. The chemistry is put on full display and the world around them is well fleshed out. Oh, and you can't forget that Julie Andrews voiceover coming in every now and then. Fantastic as always. I ended up enjoying it. I'm not going to say it's the best binge ever, but maybe watching a few episodes at a time will keep you invested. My score is a 70% for season 2 of Bridgerton. I'm curious to see what people think about this compared to season 1. Judging it on its own merits, making those comparisons, but at the end of the day, you have those characters, most of them, previously established, and then the new characters that come in, they're entertaining. So I, for one, really enjoyed a lot of aspects of this season, and the world knows what it is. I appreciate that. I love when a show is able to do that. I need to know, are you watching this on Netflix this Friday, March 25th? You guys the best. I'll see you soon.